Awesome. So again, welcome everyone. I hope that wherever you are in Canada, you have a little bit cooler temperature than we have here in Ontario. But today we're going to discover foodability. The next slide, and I'm going to have to say next slide, everyone. So Marwan is presenting for us today. So what we're going to learn about today is we're going to do a quick introduction to Food Processing Skills Canada. It's really important that you know who your partner is in this program, why we're here and why it matters. We're going to talk about the changing workforce landscape and the changing business landscape here in Canada. And then we're going to go through unlocking opportunities through foodability. So next slide. So I was hoping that our executive director could join in with us. Jennifer Griffith, for those of you that don't know us, she's a true champion for businesses in the Canadian food economy and very passionate about advocating for employers nationwide. And she, along with the whole team, shares why we're doing this project. We really believe that working with employers will facilitate lasting partnerships. It's going to put us on a trajectory for meaningful change and have a more universal workplace where we discover and enjoy everyone's abilities and grow from there. So next slide. So for those of you that aren't aware of Food Processing Skills Canada, we are a leading workforce development organization for the food industry, for the food economy, I should say. So we were founded in 1997, and we do partner across Canada with various organizations and governments and so on. And this sector deserves support. And why? We feed Canada, and there's no more important role than that. So food and beverage manufacturing businesses, or what we call the food economy, they're a key driver for Canada's economy. We contribute a tremendous amount, 35.2 billion to the GDP, and we employ over 300,000 people nationally, and that's growing. So based on projections, we're going to need a whole lot more people. We'll need at least 11,500 new people per year in addition to those that we already have, because a lot of people are retiring and our industry is growing. So next slide, please. We're also recognized globally in skills training and workforce development. We have a number of countries that we're actively working with now. And because the standards in Canada are so high, that makes us a very sought after skills training resource to numerous governments and companies and countries worldwide. So we enjoy that role, and we like to further influence that global economy with the values that are Canada. The next slide. Quickly, our team in Ottawa and across Canada is large, it's varied, it's really a whole bunch of really smart people. And we have a number of programs across Canada that I'm going to introduce you to. So this is our staff team quickly. And the next one. We also have a suite of tools and resources. And Erin, I'm going to ask you to put our web address in the chat. So for those of you that have some time later on, please go see the depth of who we are. We do everything from supporting industry, which we're known for. We have programs, we have skilled workforce strategies, we have accreditation. We do the certification of worker skills. We work with a lot of different groups, and e-learning delivery is one of our specialties. Next slide. These are just some of the programs that we're working with. And again, if you have a chance to go onto our website, you'll see that all these programs are listed. I can't go into them right now because we have quite a few. And Tanya's got her hand up. Marwan, could you go to the next slide? One of these programs that many of you are probably aware of, and most of you are probably enjoying right now, is the STACK program, Skills Training Across Canada. We presently have a frontline worker stream, and we also have a supervisor stream. So for those of you that are part of that program already, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Next slide, please. So how'd we get here? Back in 2024, we had a leadership summit in Ottawa, and that brought industry leaders from across Canada. And we had a workshop in the afternoon by Ready, Willing, and Able, which is a disability serving agency that's national in scope. And we asked employers, where are you? What are you thinking? What is it that we need? Next slide, please. And they told us, industry told us there was an undeniable need and a strong desire for inclusive education and training among managers, supervisors, and workers. And they also felt it was critical to cultivate a commitment to building an inclusive workplace at all organizational levels. So we're talking about multi-level here. And there's also a desire to prioritize hiring, inclusive hiring, and take action to demonstrate your dedication. So at a senior level, I'm not a slide reader, by the way. At a senior level, these are all the different parts that we're implementing, and you're going to see this displayed in our program presentation today. I'll also say that Erin is going to put the Leadership Summit report, the PDF, into your chat, and also you'll be getting an email from us probably tomorrow that will have some of the resources that we're talking about today. Next slide, please. So we have our first poll. We have a number of these while the poll is loading. We have a number of these. We have three actually throughout the program because we want to hear from you. So how would you describe your awareness of disabilities? So it's a single choice. Limited awareness, a little bit, would like to learn more. Fairly aware, but can always improve and can assist. You've got strong awareness and you can help others with raising their awareness. And don't know is always an answer as well. So fairly aware, but can always improve. And that's something that we saw when we did our workshops, our first series of workshops last year across Canada, that there was awareness, but there was a real desire to learn more because there's so much misinformation there. And we hope to dispute some of that today, but also in our upcoming workshops. So thank you very much for participating. I'm going to stop sharing, Marwan, and go to the next slide. So I'm seeing some black boxes and we need to minimize. There we go. So what is foodability? So based on a lot of that information that we heard back from industry, it is a program that supports employers in creating an inclusive and productive workplace. It's a funded program. We have education, we have workshops, we have practical tools because that's what industry said that they need. But more than anything, that we really believe that employers and workplaces, are the secret sauce to bringing an inclusive environment forward. We spend more of our days in our work environment, and we have influence on a number of people in our workspace. So employers and workplaces take on a whole new meaning. And government has given us this program because they understand how immense our workplace is and how passionate food and beverage employers are, and thought that this was the perfect vehicle to try to bring a more universal workspace together. So we also believe that true inclusion, it's not achieved through compliance, okay, but from active participation and understanding. Next slide, please. So why we're here and why it matters. We do have an evolving workforce that we're going to talk about. Diversity inclusion as a competitive advantage. Yes, it's okay to say that it's a competitive advantage, and yes, it's okay to say there are business benefits. Disability inclusion as a marketing and social strategy. Don't be shy. And employers leading the way from awareness to action, because we are counting on employers to help make this happen. Next slide. So what you're going to leave with today, you're going to understand the details of the program and how it can benefit your organization and bottom line. Erin will also put the FoodAbility Program guide in your chat. You're going to learn how disability inclusion can positively impact your capacity, your recruitment, retention, and absenteeism challenges. And you're going to have an invitation from us to join our program. Next slide, please. So the changing workforce landscape, new challenges, and we do have new challenges, bring new opportunities. Next slide. So this is the current state of the food and beverage manufacturing industry. Yeah, we're immense. We know we're immense. We're growing, and We contribute a lot to the national GDP, and we understand that. But in the top right-hand corner, you'll see that most employ less than 100 employees. We are a nation of small and medium-sized enterprises. Yes, we have large multinationals, which are wonderful, but we truly are a nation of small and medium-sized enterprises. And you know what? That brings a lot of opportunity. Next slide. Our changing workforce landscape, I think this is hitting all of us. We have reduced access to foreign workers. The government is reducing its immigration, it's changing its immigration policy. Those that are here have shortened work permit durations. We have increased wage requirements. We have caps on foreign worker proportions. We have the potential for reduced production and increased cost. That's what comes from that. And there's a shift to more automation. In our industry, there will always be more automation happening, but we are very much a people industry, that we rely on people skills. We rely on human brains. So while automation will always be an important part of our industry, we still are a people-driven industry. Next slide. So how many people do we need? We need a lot. Okay, this number is changing and is flexing, but we need a lot. And that's to ensure that Canada maintains its position as a global leader, which we are. We are #1 in the world in food safety. And countries look to Canada. They look to us for quality, they look to us for stability, they look to us for consistency. Next slide. That takes a lot of people to do. So why inclusion? So right now we are in the perfect storm. We have a pressure to diversify the workforce. We have a need for innovation, and we have limited labor. So that is a perfect storm. Next slide. Really why we're here? Because we have untapped talent for Canadian businesses right here, made in Canada, people in Canada that want to work, that can work. Over 800,000 employable individuals with disabilities can work and want to work. And those are only the ones that we know of. So 1 in 4 Canadians are reported to have some form of disability. You're going to learn about what disabilities are this afternoon. And almost 50% of Canadians with disabilities who are not in the labor state that they would work if simple workplace adjustments were available. I just had, as we were waiting to come online today, and I know it's a US statistic, but that's why we got ask you questions, because we need Canadian statistics. The number of people that the unemployment numbers have come in from June 2025, and the number of people with disabilities that aren't employed are actually double than the amount of the national unemployment level. So that's scary. Next slide, please. So we have over 300 types of disabilities that are recognized. So that's a lot, and that's a lot to take in. And during our workshops, we talk a little bit more about the different kinds of disabilities. So to make things easier to understand, we put them into 4 pillars. We have the physical differences, and I think everyone can recognize those. We have developmental or learning and growth differences. These start in childhood, but they also affect how someone learns and talks and takes care of themselves. The autism spectrum is a good example. Neurodiverse or brain and behavioral differences. These affect how someone thinks and sees the world or interacts or controls their actions. And then we have episodic or fluctuating differences. And I think that we're all very familiar with those. Those are ones that come and go. Sometimes they're more or less intense. They're fairly common, and they can go away or they can be long lasting. So things like long COVID, MS, HIV, cancer, diabetes, personal anxieties, migraines, those are episodic. Next slide. And this one kind of blows everyone away when we do a presentation. Did you know that 83% of all disabilities are acquired, and that the average age of acquiring them is 53? That's usually the number that I hear an intake of breath. 47%, that's almost half of all Canadians, have a relationship with someone who has a physical disability or challenge. When we did our workshops across Western Canada last year, 100% of the people that attended had a disability, had a family member with a disability, or had an employee with a disability or a neighbor, someone they knew. So disability impacted 100% of the people that attended our workshop. So this number, 47% of Canadians, I'm sure it's probably higher, but that's a huge number. Next slide, please. And we're also starting to learn that the disability rates in rural Canada are higher than in urban centers. And since most of our, not most, a lot of our manufacturing is done in outside of urban areas, that's a large potential of people that we could draw upon for our workforce. Next slide. Can you
I
start?
actually
This
didn't
is
know that there was over 300 different types of disabilities that are identified. We're actually a not-for-profit that represents the meat industry in Ontario. We do have a labor shortage. There's an opportunity here for them to realize new potential employees by utilizing this program. I actually did.
and thank you. So that leads us into poll two. And by the way, I should do an introduction. That was Daphne from Meat and Poultry Ontario, who attended one of our workshops. And she was fairly aware of disabilities, but she certainly learned a lot that day. So let's head into our second poll, Marwan. So are you aware of any employees in your organization who have a disability? Yes, I'm aware. No, I'm not aware. I think so, but they haven't disclosed yet. We're getting a few more answers in. So very interested in the yes, I am aware, but also I think so, but they haven't disclosed to us yet. And that sort of goes in with the no, I'm not aware, because we're learning that there's so many invisible disabilities. Like of those four pillars, three of which are fairly invisible. You know, even the top, even the physical one can be invisible in terms of hearing loss, right? So we are learning that we have many employees in our workforce that do have a form of disability, but they just don't want to talk about it. So hopefully with what we're planning on doing, we can support everyone with different abilities and make a more universal workspace. Stop sharing and the next slide, please. So next I want to talk a little bit about the changing business landscape. I call it beyond the production line. I want everyone to start thinking about disability inclusion as a business advantage. Next slide. So the business climate today, I needed to add this section in with everything that's happening with us. I think we're all aware of what's happening with the current political climate in the US, but does that offer opportunities to Canadian businesses? Because I'm hearing a lot of different things I want to share with you. Next slide. When I did a comparison at the start of this year, actually, about what we're doing in Canada and what we're doing in the US, the US landscape was changing weekly. But what was striking is that it was all the negatives. There was the restrictive hiring. It was employer incentives were being eliminated. The removal of guidelines for businesses seeking to comply with the American Disabilities Act, the cancellation of funding. It was all no, 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 stop, stop, stop. Whereas in Canada, we have very strong values. There's values in terms of our North Star, and there's values in terms of our business abilities. So we're finding, can I have the next slide, please? The culture is so much different and it's becoming more different. So both nations are different in their commitment, but for Canada, it's our national identity. When I speak to employers that are multinational, that have operations in the US, it's like, well, no, I'm here in Canada, and that's not how we do things. We value the people that have different abilities and the diversity we have in our workforce. We have a focus on equity and more social cohesion, whereas in the US, the practices are more litigation driven. And now that regulations are being lessened, that requirements are being removed, that incentives are gone, it's going to be a different world for those in the disability community south of the border for us. So next slide, please. How do we make this shift in attitude work for Canada? Next. How do we take advantage of this? Consumer perceptions. Big time. Boy, is a consumer aware of what's going on between Canada and the US. So how can we capitalize on that? So we had one employer actually at our industry day at Meat and Poultry Ontario that said, shop near, care here. That's the logo. That's the slogan that he's using for his retail. He has a processing facility and a retail shop in the front. And yeah, shop near and care here. Next slide. But being an inclusive employer can also help your brand appeal to shoppers and people whose lives are touched by disabilities. Remember that 47% number that I showed you earlier? We know it's higher than that. So this is a huge market. Market research shows that 92% of consumers prefer to shop companies that hire people with disabilities. Next slide. So brand appeal and social media. Next. I want to talk a little bit about the economic power of disability inclusion, the numbers. Next slide. So I have a couple of statistics here. 1 in 3 Canadians actually has a disability, but they present a purchasing power that's just amazing. $55 billion annually. By 2035, this is staggering, 40% of Ontario, just Ontario's consumer base, will be people with disabilities. Add family and friends, and the group represent a massive $366 billion market. And they spend more per trip. By 2030, real consumer spending by Canadians with physical disabilities alone is projected to advance nearly 3 times in the pace of overall consumer spending. I'll just add something interesting here. I don't know if you've seen it advertised, but Adidas, no, excuse me. Yeah, it was Adidas, came out with a Down syndrome footwear for those that have Down syndrome. So not only was a wonderful thing for those that have Down syndrome, and it went through the various associations and agencies, but it also brought a lot of brand awareness to the company in general, and their sales increased across the board. So this is the buying power of people that are together with someone that has a disability and those that have a disability themselves. Next slide. Daniel, how would you recommend advertising to vulnerable sectors? Are there employment sites to post on? I often say, and I will say further in the presentation, that it's hard to advertise for someone with a disability on LinkedIn. Part of this program that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes is going to partner us with agencies and associations and community groups across Canada. So hang tight there, and I'm going to answer that more directly. I'm going back to the social and the marketing. Disability inclusion makes sense. If there are businesses that recognize your challenges and cater to you, wouldn't you want to know about them? Think about things that have happened in your own personal life, because we have not gone unscathed without something that we could call a disability. Have you ever broken an ankle, broken a leg, been on crutches? I had a knee replacement. So I definitely learned about things and places and where to go that helped me during those times. So yeah, I would like to know about them. And again, I'll say 92% of consumers prefer to support companies that hire people with disabilities. Next slide. Don't shy away from marketing. It can be very tastefully done. I know that when I first started this program, I thought, oh, I felt like I was taking advantage. No, you're not taking advantage. You're creating awareness. There was a gentleman, a business that was recognized at an ODIN, which is Ontario Disability Employment Network, and he won a business award. And he talks about he employs those that have a disability because he enjoys working with them. You'll see a long list of attributes further on in our presentation. He won the award, but you know what? His customers like them as well. His customers come to him because he's supporting individuals with disabilities, and they do a darn good job. So don't shy away from the marketing. It can be very tastefully done. Disability inclusion generates 21.4% more media and 20.5% more interactions compared to their non-disabled counterparts. Next slide. I love this. This is from Catherine Power. She's a vice president from Sodexo Canada. As much as it's a nice thing to do, and as much as doing any of this corporate social responsibility work is nice to do, the reason we're doing it is because the marketplace demands it. I think that just lays it right there. The marketplace demands it. Our society demands it, our families, and we demand it. Next slide. So, like, really, what do you think of when you hear the word disability? I've asked that question and we wanted to put it in a poll question. We do that in the workshop to say, like, what really do you think of when you hear the word disability? Most people think of a wheelchair right off the bat. That's their number one response. But as you saw, there are over 300 different conditions. So whether it's physical, developmental, neurodiverse, or episodic, there are over 300 different types of disabilities. And studies suggest that a large percentage of the disabilities are considered invisible. And you saw the statistic of when most disabilities are acquired, because 87% of disabilities are acquired. They're not something someone was born with. So we actually see the ability and the opportunity. Next slide. And this is one of our favorites. Enjoy.
The baker had Simone, and everybody saw that she could do the job. The lawyer went to the baker and saw Simone at work. The lawyer hired John because the baker hired Simone. The baker hired Simone. The dentist went to the lawyer and saw John at work. The dentist hired Sophia because the lawyer hired John, because the baker had Simone. The baker had Simone. The farmer went to the dentist and saw Sophia at work. The farmer hired Kate because the dentist had Sophia, because the lawyer had John, because the baker had Simone. The baker had Simone. The farmer went to the farmer and saw Kate at work. The farmer had Paul because the farmer had Kate, because the dentist had Sophia, because the lawyer had John, because the baker had Simone. The baker had Simone. The baker went to the barber and saw Paul at work. He didn't have a clue, but it was thanks to his first move that the barber had Paul, because the farmer had Kate, because the dentist had Sophia, because the lawyer had John, because the baker had Simone. The baker had Simone. The baker had Simone. Yeah, yeah.
I have to apologize to Sting. That was a brutal representation of his work. It's amazing that what we can do with technology, but we can't play a simple video. We'll have the next slide. There's a tremendous power. There's a just tremendous power in having a diverse team. So what we really want to accomplish is we have to move away from talking about and dealing with this topic as diversity, right? And more about people's strengths and unique capabilities. Let's get rid of the word inclusion and talk about what people can do, because it's really what we want. So this whole thing about diversity, inclusion, all those words, we seek to replace them with ability and universality. Next slide, please. It's a fact. Many people with disability have a post-secondary education. They have very strong problem-solving skills. They're adaptable and extremely reliable. So why aren't we hiring them? How do we know where they are? But why aren't we hiring them? Next slide. So when I speak to employers across Canada and I ask what the things are that they really want, it's not good sanitation practices and good manufacturing practices and the ability to do certain things. It all comes down to the people skills. So Meet Canada's untapped talent. We have shown we have resources and research to tell us that individuals that have disabilities have excellent attention to detail, very consistent, creative problem solving, proven dedication and loyalty. Talk about retention here. They have fewer workplace accidents, not more, which is the number one myth, that you're going to have higher insurance rates and there's more accidents. People that have a disability, they know how to take care of themselves. They've had to take care of themselves most of their lives. So trust me, just like you learned how to do things when you had a knee replacement or you broke your ankle, you knew how to get around without hurting yourself. People with disabilities do the same. They have fewer workplace accidents, and that is a proven fact. And there's less absenteeism. And when there's less absenteeism because the individual with a disability is really thankful and loving his job, just so happy to be there, other people start showing up for work more, and there's less absenteeism across the board. So I love this quote. Diversity is a fact, but inclusion is a choice we make every day. And as leaders, we have to put the message out that we embrace and not just tolerate diversity. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to throw in a couple of practical examples for the use of the demonstrated proficiencies that we've learned. So hyperfocus, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing for food safety, for someone in a food safety role? And attention to detail for someone that's in sanitation. Consistency, boy, that's a good one for quality control. Being highly organized, inventory management could use that. And problem solving, innovation. During our workshops, we're going to be honored by having a gentleman who wrote the book, The Case Studies in Disability-Driven Innovation, Robert Lutke, and it's totally turned around how I think about business. But I've just taken some of the qualities that we know and understand and put them into roles that we have in our businesses. Next slide. What we know, the benefits of employees with a disability, staff retention, 72% higher. 86% had average or better attendance. I think that's remarkable, and that's often a complaint for our industry employers. 90% performed equal or better to their coworkers without disabilities. So let's look at abilities and what people can do, and not what they can't do. Next slide. Well, there also another area to increase your hiring is filling in gaps in your workforce. Our businesses are going to need to adjust, and many people need some temporary, flexible, or casual support. Those opportunities are often of interest to those with disabilities who may need or prefer a flexible or periodic work arrangement, or to manage an episodic condition. So if you have someone in your workforce, and you most likely do, that has what we call an episodic condition or disability, migraines, for example, and they're frequent, and that individual needs some time away. They need some time away from their computer, away from the production line, but you have that space to fill. And so oftentimes individuals that have a disability really welcome the difference in flexible schedules. So that's another area where you may want to consider. Next slide, please. Because sometimes the best talent is hidden in plain sight. You could have wonderful people working for you right now, but not because it lacks value, but because we just haven't yet built systems to see it. And FoodAbility aims to change that. Next slide. Business and abilities meet here. Next slide. So let's talk about the next steps. Let's go from awareness to action. Next slide. So with FoodAbility, we have developed pillars for success. When we first received the project, I should say, we learned an awful lot. And we learned that it wasn't going to be a one-dimensional approach. So we have 3 pillars for success. Could you go next slide, please? The first one being the leadership level, which we consider employers and HR professionals. So when we had tremendous involvement in our workshops, perhaps not in numbers, but certainly in feedback and people that shared with us. And so at the leadership level with employers, there is certainly motivation and a desire to pursue more of what FoodAbility programming has. We came to know very quickly that the HR level was incredibly important because HR bears the brunt of everything. They are the people that make the decisions, but they're also the people that if things don't work out, they're the ones people go to. And so HR, we found a lot of people that were in human resources attending our workshops. So we thought, here's something we're going to do. We're going to do a lot of support for people that are in the HR profession. Next slide. So by the way, in your chat, Erin has given you links. She's giving you resources in terms of guides. And again, I'll state that tomorrow you'll receive an email thanking you for being here, but also some of the hard copies of those things that you can download. So in the leadership and HR level, I want to stress here that this is a one-on-one. Tammy? Erin, would you be kind enough to put my personal email, my FPSC email in the chat as well? Because if you have certain particular questions, I would be more than happy to answer them directly. And also, I want to say that one of the benefits, I was about to say, one of the benefits at the HR and the leadership level is we have an HR and disability inclusion specialist with us, and we can book office hours. Like you can book an appointment with her and have one-on-one conversations that you may want to discuss something that was particular to your place of employment, your business, that you may not want to share. So those one-on-one appointments are going to be available to you when you register for the program. In the top right-hand corner, I said exclusive concierge level. We mean that. This is one-on-one support. As soon as you register, Erin and I are going to get in touch with you, and we're going to go with directly what you need and what you want, what you need, and how to get started. So at this level, there's an awful lot involved. That the education and training, the courses are absolutely incredible. There's no food safety courses at this level whatsoever. They deal with emotional intelligence. They deal with teaching you about neurodiversity in a very practical way and how you can apply things. We have workbooks, we have case studies. It's very interactive education. Tremendous amount of supports. I'm going to show you an employer dashboard in just a little bit. We have the interactive workshops online that I'll introduce you to at the end of this, at the end of the presentation. But we also want to recognize those employers that are really taking a look at this and really embracing what it means to have a workforce where everyone's abilities are recognized and everyone's abilities are championed. Next slide. Here we have listed the courses. You will have a complete curriculum as well as the learning objectives and descriptions for all the courses. But you'll see that the top block with the social emotional learning, the leadership level, and we have the disability inclusion level. So especially the courses that were written regarding neurodiversity were written by a gentleman that is an expert in the field. And even if you think you know a lot, please, these courses are just so eye-opening. And we've had individuals who have family members that are neurodiverse that learn so much from this. So the amount of learning and awareness here is second to none. It's truly an exceptional program, and it is learn at your own speed, by the way. Next slide. I placed this here because those of you that were aware of the STACK program, I just wanted to highlight what we're seeing in terms of the results that employers have recognized through going through creating training programs or making training programs available for their staff. This is some of the employer perceptions. So when you offer learning opportunities to your team, it enhances your entire team. It enhances your business. It enhances your recruitment efforts. We've proven that this is something that our team members need, our team members should have, and everyone benefits from. So I just wanted to put that up because these are actual statistics that have come from the STACK program. The next slide. So it's great to have the buy-in for the decision makers, and HR certainly is a key to this, but so is the employee teams level. If your workforce doesn't understand what it is you want to do, doesn't understand how we can make our workplace more available to everyone, like you don't want to have a situation where someone doesn't recognize why Sue needs to sit down for 10 minutes or while Jim is working half days this week. When people understand about disabilities and inclusion and how they can better be the best support ever, then the buy-in makes this program possible. So that level of understanding is critical. The employee teams level, You will, by the way, invite your employees. This is the curriculum. We have skills for success. We have some disability inclusion. We had 4 optional food safety courses. Those are because those courses are being offered to those that have disabilities. The courses in the disability inclusion component are very similar to the ones at the executive level, the leadership level, but they're written in a context of being supportive, of being part of a team. So they're written in that kind of language with really practical things to do and to use, etc. So the employee stream is really an important stream. You need to have buy-in from your workforce. Next slide, please. And so again, this is from Stack because we haven't had enough people go through our program yet to show you the statistics from our program. So this is the employee perception results based from Stack. This is how the employees felt about having those learning opportunities. So having better relationships with people and enjoying what they're doing more, understanding what their roles are, giving better feedback to coworkers. So again, it's the benefits to your team, the benefits to your organization are documented. And these results are in a report that just send Aaron or myself an email and we can send to you. The next slide, please. Yes, you will have a copy of the presentation. And thanks for jumping in there, Deb. Deborah is the project manager for Stack. And I hope that I'm representing the program properly, but the number has gone up. So we're learning so much about what happens when you make training available to your team. Like the benefits are there, and now the benefits are documented. So they're just truly wonderful. And thanks, Deb. Okay, so now we have the leadership level in HR. Your employee teams are critical. But as someone said in the chat, where do we find people? They don't exactly advertise themselves on LinkedIn. We have tremendous organizations across Canada, the disability serving agencies. So we're going to partner at the community level with agencies and with clients. Next slide. But here's the thing. We too listened to employers and said, we've tried this before and it hasn't worked. The agency sent people that were not appropriate for the role. They really don't understand what we do. I think that they really don't understand what we do came out a lot. And so part of the program for the community serving agencies is a train the trainer, AKA industry immersion. So, to understand what it is that we do, to understand that we manage risks every day, to understand that the opportunities that are available, but to understand us is an important part of this partnership. So I just want to be really clear here that introductions between employers and agencies in your area are made through us because we want to understand. This is where that concierge level of support comes in. We want to understand what your needs are. We need to understand at the community agency level who they have that could be appropriate. Do they understand what the needs are? And then and only then do we facilitate the introductions. Like when I talked about our workshops, last year was about creating a lot of awareness, and I think we're doing that. Like we're starting there. It's a big story. You can't tell it all at once. So that will be ongoing. This year, we're concentrating on really supporting those that manage HR functions, large and small businesses. Sometimes that's the owner, sometimes it's the HR department. And starting this fall and going into 2026, we want to make those introductions. We want to have the roundtables. We want to have employers and agencies at the table together so we can better understand each other and how we can make this work. Next slide. And we have had, by the way, tremendous support from certain provinces. I can't say enough about Alberta. I think they put together a consortium of most of the employment agencies and disability serving agencies. And we had fabulous meetings. So we're looking forward to going out there and working in Alberta with those groups and introducing them to our industry. So this is their curriculum. You'll see that it's heavy in the introduction to food. And these are the courses that employers have told us they want people to know. They want to know. They want They want people applying for jobs to know about good manufacturing practices and sanitations and how important lockout tagout is. So we have this level of curriculum for them, but also some social emotional learning, like learning how to handle their emotions. That's one of the most popular courses that we have. Adaptability in the workplace, working with others. Those are really critical. That's really critical information that we need to impart onto the clients and to the agencies themselves. Okay, so the community level courses for the agencies and for their clients are identical by design, so they can support their clients as they're going through this program as well. So again, there's a lot of one-on-one support from our team to these agencies and to their clients. And yes, we will take on clients that have disabilities that aren't connected with an agency. I have a young man in Alberta right now, as a matter of fact, that I'll be speaking to this afternoon that wants to be part of the program and who wants to work. Next slide. Digital credentials. We are very proud of the fact that, and our stack manager, Deborah, created these. We're very proud of the fact that our education, our training programs are very robust, and that you deserve, the people that undertake the programming deserve to be recognized, and they deserve to be recognized in a professional manner. Next slide. So when a course is completed at a level of 70% or more, you receive a digital badge. Okay, so we have the leadership level, the employee team level, and the community level. And on program completion, which is all the courses and attending at least 4 of the events, 4 of the webinars, etc., that you receive a micro credential and a certificate of a major completion of the program completion. And so we really encourage employees to share their credentials. On LinkedIn, we see a lot of people across Canada sharing their credentials from the STACK program, and it's wonderful. It's great visibility for your organization. And again, think about the marketing. Think about using social media. There's Deb. 89% of frontline workers reported that micro credentials were important. Yes, they are. And think about who's in our industry. Many people in our industry have not finished high school, or they have high school and that's about it. What other industry are you able to, at any age, take a program, take courses, and receive recognition for that? I can tell you from the ground level, when I've been an instructor, how proud people are of that credentialing. It's something many for the first time, because they haven't finished high school or they just finished high school, that they have a piece of paper and now a digital badge in their name that they can show, I did this. And the effects of that are very long term, towards their employer, but being given the opportunity, amongst their peers, that they in fact accomplished that. And even so to their family, to their kids, that, hey, look, mom or dad did this. So we have found that this is incredibly, incredibly important to them. Next slide. And you also receive recognition. I'm being mindful of the time. You receive recognition when you complete surveys, because we all love them. Webinar attendance, like today, and workshop attendance. And so you receive a certificate when you receive a workshop. And so webinar attendance, you receive recognition when you've applied for the program and are registered and you attend a webinar. Surveys, I go back to those statistics that you've seen, that we have the wonderful numbers that we're proud to display for STACK. We do that because we have a research company that we work with. And I can tell you that they're part of the FoodAbility program from day one. And when we ask you a question, we document the answer. We don't document who gave us the answer. So all of your responses to any survey we have are confidential. Okay, but we need the statistics, because all I'm armed with is statistics from the US. And those are very shortly going to be meaningless. So we need Canadian numbers, but we need them from you. So when we have surveys and stuff, please participate in them. We need a Canadian story to tell, not an American story to tell. So the next one. Speaking of surveys, Erin has sent you the link to the inclusivity meter. It's a very short survey, and it's being done across Canada, and it gives us the pulse, the starting pulse of where we are right now. And we hope to have a much different result in about a year and a half from now. So please do take that survey, and only takes a couple of minutes. So your next step, to apply. FoodAbility.ca. It's a wonderful website with all kinds of information. We have the Toolkit Central and so on. Thanks, Tanya. She took the STACK program and the impact has been wonderful. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Can we have the next slide? The timeline, the program ends September 30th, 2026. And I want to very much stress that the learning is at your own speed. So first we want you to apply. We can go into the details of parent and child, parent organization and a subsidiary location. We have many opportunities. We have many organizations that have done that. So once we have your application, we'll reach out to you directly. You'll receive an email from us on how to get started. The how to get started is different for everyone. So for employers, we're going to go through a meeting together to determine your needs and so on, and teach you how you're going to invite those in your organizations to apply, because you invite them to apply. Your employees have a different experience once they're invited to apply. I'll show you directly how they're going to get the information on how to get started. So you're going to learn at your own speed, and we have a tremendous amount of events and workshops, and it's just such a large story. I've said this before, I'm repeating myself. There's just so much information that we don't want to overwhelm anyone. We want to help. We want to get started. We want to understand what way people need to help to get started, because everyone's different. And of course, we're going to recognize your efforts both in the learning and both in participating in Foodability. So that's all part of the program. Next slide. The leadership level getting started guide is going to be sent to you. Is the link, I think, is Erin has put it in the chat box, and it'll be sent to you. It's much easier for you to have it in front of you to go through, and it's going to talk about and show you examples of everything that I've been speaking of. Next slide, please. We also have a video for when you get started. Could you play that just for a few seconds?
Welcome to your Foodability onboarding video. I'm Holly, and I will be taking you through your employer dashboard training. In this video, we will discuss how.
So that's a really good example.
We will also talk about the different types of dashboards.
The next slide.
As well as how.
Sorry, she does go on for about 14 minutes. But we have it in paper. We have a hard copy for you, the Getting Started Guide. We also have a very handy video for you to watch. You're going to have your own dashboard, which is almost like a mini website, where you're going to monitor the progress of everyone involved in the program. There'll be information about upcoming events there. There'll be a tremendous amount of resources that we add. You'll have the Getting Started Guide there in copy, and also the video that you can play at any time. You'll be able to see where people are in their learning process. So the dashboards are an incredible tool. You can also print extremely wonderful looking, thank you, Deborah, graphical reports if you need to respond to anyone to demonstrate how the program is being used and where people are in it. The reports are very graphical, and they're lovely. I couldn't do that myself. I'm just an Excel kind of girl. So it's a wonderful tool to have. The leadership stream gives you the opportunity as well. You decide within your organization what level you feel I'm sorry, I'm just kind of reading the chat here as it pops up. You decide at what level you are going to invite someone within your organization. Should they be at the employer and HR professionals level? Should they be at an employee teams level? They can take both. Should they be at the community or individuals level? That's really good for a new or existing employee, perhaps that has a disability. The choices are yours, and they're explained, and that's part of the process when we have that one-on-one interview. When you sign up, we are truly after what the best experience is going to be for you. The next slide, please. So having said that, we're going to go into poll number 3. It's the last one. So what should your organization prioritize to support a more inclusive workplace? So we're going to ask you to rank the following, 1 to 5, not important at all, or very important. So we have rewriting job descriptions, increasing team awareness about inclusion, understanding regulations regarding accessibility. I think you'll need to scroll down, Marwin. Could you scroll down so we can see the rest of the questions? There we go. So we want to learn from you what you will prioritize. And I can state here that all of the things that we've listed here are elements of this program. We have a workshop on rewriting job descriptions. That's actually part of our national workshop that we're rolling out. We have tools to help increase your team members' awareness about inclusion. We are having a workshop just on regulatory things that you need to know, how to create a policy template, because those requirements, especially coming down in 2026, will be even more important. So all the little bits and pieces that employers have asked us for up to now, we are including. But we also need to know from you, are we going on the right track? What else do we need to add? Because we want to make this a program for you. Like, we're here to help you. We're here to help you get started, because that's also a question that individuals have said, we don't know how to get started. Like, where do we start? You start here. You start here with us, and we're going to help you every step of the way. So thank you very much. Increasing team awareness regarding understanding regulations, that's always been really super important. And rewriting job descriptions. We're looking at the universality of how we operate. And we're learning that that concept of universality to include everyone makes things so much easier. And it's like, when we talk about that in workshops, like, why didn't I think of that? Well, you have a lot on your plate, so that's why we're here. Excellent results. Thank you very much. Can we go on to the next slide? I'm conscious of the time. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can, but this is important. So, workshops and events coming up. If you're from the East Coast, we're going to be in Newfoundland on August 26th. We're going to be in Quebec in September, but we're also rolling out to BC, to Alberta, to Manitoba, to Saskatchewan, London, Ontario. We're going to be here as well. Aaron has just given us the workshop link. Quebec, and very much looking forward to going out to Newfoundland. We've had a lot of support from East Coasters, and that's really wonderful to see. And in 2026, again, I said inclusion means include me. That's the theme for 2026, and that's where we're going to be having organizations and employers at the table together to learn from each other, the National Business Roundtable. So next slide. But I want to introduce you to something that's coming up as well. In your guide, in the program guide, there's another list, a long list of HR products and workshops and so on that we're going to have. There's quite a few of them, how to deal with accommodations and so on. We've been asked that, can we have information in short nuggets? Like, we can't always sit down for 2 hours on a webinar. Can we have like maybe one topic short nuggets? So we created the 6x30. It's an HR webinar series that is going to be hosted by Sherry DeVoe, who has, she's an incredible HR strategist. She has worked with government, she's worked with companies, she's worked with employers, and she's worked with team members. And she's absolutely fabulous, and people love her. She's going to be facilitating these webinar series. So we have our dates here. This will also be sent out to you so you can mark it on your calendar and register. These are topics that, from our workshops, this is how we listen to you. This is how we do what you ask of us. These are the topics that came out very strongly from our initial set of workshops. So we're going to continually add to them. But the 6x30 means that it's 30 minutes long. Now, you will be able to stay online to ask Sherry some questions afterwards. And certainly those that have registered for the program can have their one-on-ones that are booked with Sherry as well. Next slide, please. The workshops have been extremely well received. I'm not going to read the testimonials because you have it in front of your screen, but we have a wonderful video that we're short on time here, but it's from Wendy Somerville from Contact North, and it's explaining that you don't know what you don't know. Like, you have a certain amount of awareness, and there's just so much more to learn, and how we can make this just a better workforce for everyone, because when we improve our workforce, our businesses improve, our opportunities improve. And it's where we need to be going, in terms of employment, in terms of a workforce, and in terms of society. And so again, I want to stress the business benefits of doing this. Next slide, please. We also have another program that you may or may not be aware of, and that's the Student Work Placement Program, or SWIP Plus. We have two streams to it. Stream number one is 70% of the wages to a maximum of $7,000. Aaron has put the website there, but it also it includes post-secondary students with a disability. And when you have over 300 different kinds of disabilities, you have additional funds in this program if you hire someone with a disability, and it's $7,000 per semester. Summer 2025 is still open. I strongly encourage you to please go on the SWIP website. The employers that make use of this program absolutely love it. Who doesn't know what to do with an extra $7,000 per employer, per student, per semester? And you know what? We need to bring young people into our industry. And as I go through the research globally, that's something that we're really not doing a good job on, folks, is we're not bringing young people into our industry, and we need to. So this is a tremendous opportunity, benefiting employers for doing that, and additional funds if you hire someone that has a disability. So please go on the website, and we encourage you to apply. Next slide. There is a fall one as well, but it doesn't start until October. So, we have an opportunity to create a new normal, and make inclusion a daily thought, so we can get rid of the word inclusion. And that is our mantra here at FoodAbility. We want to showcase abilities, everyone's abilities. And we want to make our industry, which is the best industry in the world, even stronger by doing so. So we really encourage you to apply today. Next slide, probably our last one. Oh, and I love this. Disability doesn't make you exceptional, but questioning what you think you know about it does. So we hope to see you apply to FoodAbility, and we hope to be working with you. Last slide. And thank you from our entire team. Do I have any questions? I know I'm right at my time. I can stay on if anyone has any questions to ask. Be happy to answer them. You also have my email if you prefer to ask a question. We hope to see you at the workshops, and we hope to have you apply. Anyone have any questions? You can stop this. Thanks, Tanya. Well, if no one has any questions for now, we will bid you adieu and have a wonderful day. Stay cool. Register now. Do the inclusivity meter survey. Let's see what else I can do. You'll get an email from us tomorrow, and just have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Deanna.